Hello, how's it going, everybody? This is Aztec Emerald, and I am Dan the Mexican, bringing you another episode of The Rundown, a show where I talk all things MMA. Obviously, the first thing, if you've seen my videos before, you might notice, hey, why does he sound so goddamn off? I had a chest infection, a nose cold, a lot. It's a horrible experience. It's not that it's a horrible experience, it never knocks you out enough that you're bed sit, you're able to do most normal things, but you're constantly coughing every few seconds and you're constantly blowing your nose. The mucus that builds up in a human nose, I don't understand where it comes from. I don't understand where it comes from unless your sinus just goes around your eyes and then in around your entire body and has these repositories for shit because my god, it's insane. The idea of me doing a video about it all during that was ridiculous. It worked in my favor, however, that there was a significant gap of MMA. There was Bellator, but there was still like not really much happened. So that was actually kind of good for me to take a break. But anyway, here we are, back again. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for being here. Basically, on the itinerary is I have a crap load of slides. We're going to go through not of every single fight that happened, especially with Barboza versus Lee, that event. Some of the fights I didn't bother going through, even though some of the matches were kind of significant, simply because it was 3 or 5 rounds, or it was like 3 rounds solid of kind of the same thing over and over and over again. When it comes to slides and doing that kind of thing, it gets very repetitive, and there wasn't a lot of dynamic craziness. Aljamain Sterling's fight, it was a good fight. It wasn't exactly fantastically amazing, and although I picked the other dude, I was surprised how Aljamain, considering how well he won, there was no real capitalization on the clear gap of skill between the two of them. So that kind of fell into the generic category for a fight for me. Cub and Frankie, I'd seen that fight before. I don't mind when you see a fight before and then it's a bit different and different things happen. And if it's a long fight, if there's a dynamic and a change back and forth between who's in favor, who the fight's in favor of, brilliant. But this was sort of, I mean, I could be wrong, but almost identical than as their first fight. It was like a mirror image almost. Even the same level of damage implied or imposed by either fighter was kind of similar. I will say Cub wasn't as easily taken down, and he did have a bit more luck in the striking, but for the most part, it wasn't really much for me. The Willis fight, again, 3 rounds of heavyweight. Now, your man Willis did much better than Sherman. His overall striking ability, his awareness, his distance, his ability to answer, to move in, to move out, to pick his shots, to time his combinations, and add things up over the rounds and stuff was really, really good. I'm not a massive expert in this stuff, so unless there's a very glaring, oh, look at this here, look at this here, once again, it's kind of, when it comes to slides, it's kind of a redundant pursuit. So most of the stuff that I have is the finishes of the fights, how they kind of started off in the slow mo, so you can see bit by bit. When you're watching the fight and the fight ends, you're like, oh, and even some of the replay, you're like, cool. But to actually see the in bit by bit section of two people on the ground, one person's kind of going for something, and then the moment between when the person going for something is finding his way to get it and the other person is trying to reverse out of it but either doesn't know or it's too late. Those kind of moments matter a bit more to look at and are easier to do after the fact from stills and slow, like proper stop it, slow motion, take a look at this shot, take a look at this shot. So that's why I've picked them. Obviously, I have a good bit of slides for the Barboza Lee main event because it was the main event, and Lee's performance, despite the fact that Barboza fought Habib not that long ago, from like not that far away from the fight with Lee, still what Lee did to him was arguably more in the plethora of how he dominated the fight, bigger and more of it of ways than Khabib did. It was brilliant. I was very, very impressed. So I'm going to have that as well. And then obviously there's Bellator that happened over the weekend, and I have a few significant ones from that too. 1 second. Oh wait, where do I go? Okay. So without further ado, oh God, wait, no, I've got to put up some stuff. Wait, where did that go? Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So we start off. Pardon me. Start off with Badr versus Shagas. So let's get into it, shall we? I think I've already said that. Yep, I think I did. Also, if you notice, blurry background. It's all blurry. I got a Chrome Cam thing. What's it called? Chroma Cam in extension. It's really cool. I like it. I hope you do too. Right. So now let's get into. Oh God, no. Where am I? Aha. Okay. So this is just one of those. God like it's different when you see someone get cracked in the face and they go down. It's very easy for a brain who has no experience of fighting whatsoever to watch and go, holy crap, oh, that was vicious. Even though we can see it happening and we see, oh, the fight ended from a body shot, it's not as easy for us to go, oh my God, the impact isn't as, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because there's a delay usually with the body shot. But what I want to focus on is not just the connection. Look at the face and the body language of Shagas as we go through here. Oh, wait. My apologies. I didn't set up the hotkeys for this one. I knew I was forgetting something. I'm so sorry. If you would. Yeah, oh, it's done. I did set up the hotkeys. I knew I didn't make that mistake. Okay, I don't know why this isn't going. I I'm very sorry about this. This is extremely unprofessional and bad. Um, Also, quite irritating when you're like, Grant, I've done everything. I've tested everything. This works perfect. Now let's record. Oh, awesome. None of the things work now. That makes sense. Um, there we go. Okay. So it looks from here like he's going to go for an inside leg kick. But then he extends. Shagas kind of moves back. You can see his right leg. It's kind of it's at an angle, right? Now, even though at this point we can see Badahar's leg is going a bit higher, that initial look here that looks like it was a low kick gets him to Shagas to go up and pivot his knee. And that's basically how you check the kick. And his hands are high just in case it's a switch to go a bit higher. But he doesn't have the body blocked at all. And boom, if you see there, right, look at the toes. It's the toes that are what is it really has the final blow, because the way it works in physics, the smaller the focal point of the energy, the more concentrated into one particular spot that all that energy gets transmitted. So to kick and then have your whole shin or the whole inside of your foot, that hurts and that wrecks. But if you can kick with look at the muscles on Badr leg. And if you can channel all of that at the right moment where it snaps and all the energy gets released out, if you can channel that into bang, that final toe going, well, like it doesn't work with the hand because the thumb's not there, but the toe of your foot's going bang and flicking, just pushing out at the last moment of impact. That's what really digs it in. Because the first is the impact of the shock, the blunt impact, but it's the final push through that really gives the sting and gives the person doing that. So watch that there. I'll actually remove myself on the side here. I was trying to see which was a better angle. I thought it was me on top there to the left, but by the looks of it, it's not. So give me 1 second and I'll turn this over. There we go. Look at that. Look at his face. Look at his eyes. Oh, hold on a second. And Barboza, look at his face. He's like, oh, oh, and then, oh, the face is, no, I can't. And then that's it. He just starts to slump. The knees buckle, start to bend in. Barboza sees his moment to finally finish it off. And this is like, when you see it in normal time, it's like, okay. But when you see it in slow motion, it's like, look at this face. He's made this face. And you'd think, oh, sweet, I have slain the beast. But he's like, oh, he's weak, kill it. He runs in and just lets his hand swing like a pendulum and hooks him bing on the face as he falls into his moving fist, collapsing him and just finishing it off there. Look at his neck bend, like he had no... That final drop, his body couldn't brace the impact at all, and he just went with his neck. And then the refs, it's funny because the refs, like the position just to stop the shot is like, oh, I wonder, he could come back. Is he out? Like, he's clearly dead. And the ref's like, no, done. So winning by TKO in the second round. I think it was a liver shot. I'm not sure. I couldn't be 100% sure about that. But Barboza, CR Barboza, well done, sir, well done. Right, now let's go for the next one. This one, I used one photo for this, okay? Now, the people in the photo, there's no implication as to I'm picking these out as the problem or anything like that. It's more the overall context of a picture says 1,000 words, that the lack of being able to go, what is this? What's going on here? I'm able to pinpoint what that is. Explains beautifully what this fight represents, what this photo represents of this fight. And that is this. This is the Dvalishvili versus Simone fight. And essentially I have one ref in the background, Keith Peterson, going, what? Another dude sitting down there behind Bruce Buffer going, this looks serious and I want to look like I'm paying attention, but I have no idea. I really hope nobody asks for my opinion because I don't know what's going on. You have the guy behind him with his hand over his face going, Jesus, just Jesus. You have the other guy looking at Goddard and Bruce, and he's like, I know the camera's looking at me right now and I'm going to pretend to look serious, but once again, no clue what's happening. Goddard and Bruce are like, there's no order to what's going on here. And Bruce is like, dude, I know. I'm just trying to find out what the fuck's happening. I just want to know what's what. And it's the whole Dvalishvili thing. Look, I'm not going to sit here with a bunch of slides and try weigh in. The best minds in the game, journalists, analysts, coaches, fighters, the rest, all have had their piece. Officials all have had their piece on it. And what that photo indicates is everybody who should have a very clear idea as to what the hell just happened and what the ruling should be has no actual idea or can come out with serious conviction for a definite outcome. The fact that one of the people arguing with, or not arguing, but one of the people in the photo there with Bruce and everything like that is, that ref wasn't the ref in the octagon that night. it like there's so much weirdness that goes on there. The ref in the octagon waved off the fight out of camera after the bell, but which still technically counts. But at the same time, it's like nobody saw that on at home. Nobody saw that, and you can't rewatch it in the replay because it's just not in the shots of the camera. And the guy, I was supposed to have the cards when he didn't have the right cards. So he had to go back and ask for them, and it was so bizarre. Like the doctors laid Davashvili back down on the floor, which made people think, oh, they laid him back down on the floor, as opposed to him being a foreign guy just wanting to do what is correct and being told, lay down. He's like, oh, okay, and lies down, and it's just all this madness, and like, oh, he was knocked out the bell, but he was knocked out before the bell, but the ref didn't actually call it off. And like, there's different times that happens in fights where if you want to take that as a punch or someone being ropey and stuff, and getting hit and hit and hit, but man, the bell goes and they happen to just still fight to see another round. All of that kind of stuff is like precedent for whether this is right or wrong, but then there's other incidents where there's precedent for a different action. It's complete anarchy, complete chaos, and just nonsense. And the part that's like that I get, and that's defining most of all this, is Jesus, man, how long is this sport going to be around with something as big and official as the UFC, and there's still like no consistent playbook? We're in a state that uses replay, and that night, no, they did not choose. Like nobody said, and the ref at the time, no one chose to look at the replay. It's just mad. Like, you've 4 or 5 people. There was an official there who didn't know the rules, so he had to ask somebody else. The other person, like, I don't know. Mark Ratner, I think, like, thought it was one thing, but then the ref thought it was another thing, and someone else thought it was another thing. I was just like, dude, you all work for the same consortium. Like, establish a status quo of general rules, man. I thought that's bread and butter in any kind of fight sport, especially in the modern age with replay and stuff like that. It's just nuts. And in the meantime, Davashvili just gets totally screwed over in a verdict. And like, even after like all of that madness, Mark Goddard himself and most other people agree, for whatever was or wasn't, or whether Davashvili should have got was out, was he not out, blah blah. The one thing everyone agree on is like, people like, why was it called a TKO? Oh, no idea. That's a weird one. It should have been called a sub, or it should have been called something like whatever. It shouldn't have been called a TKO. No, that's ridiculous. But it is. It's what? So yeah, that was that fight. I think Davashvili is repealing it, and they were getting a rematch. I'm not sure what the turnaround on that is, because it's not the first time you've heard that someone said that they were getting a rematch, and then I'll try to say it to myself more. Never got that rematch. So on to the next one. Oh wait, is that the right one? Nope. My apologies. That was in the wrong order. There we go. Okay. Aha. Oh, this one makes me sad. I mean, it's a fucking whopper knockout. Sorry, cursing. It's such a good knockout. But, and I got good shots of it, but man. This one upsets me. Miller versus Hooker. Not going to get too much into the narrative and stuff behind it. Miller's just a staple. He's been there for years. He's had been in so much like awesome fights. He has got such a resume. But you can only get hit in the face so many times before it just gets a lot easier for that hit to be the only hit you can take in that fight. Saying that though, it's not like he got tapped. It was a vicious knee that was perfectly timed. I would also argue that someone like Jim Miller should have a bit better octagon experience to not see a knee like that from a guy who has at a far enough away angle. Sorry. In the first round. Not that Dan Hooker isn't a beast, But it also comes to make me think maybe that's another sign that a fighter is been in there a bit too long, where things that at the near in the middle or at certainly the peak of their career, you can't really get them with as easily as that. But in their later career, you can start to find these openings to just throw these really kind of what should be noticeable and a lot harder to utilize techniques. But nevertheless, here it is. Um, Sets him up with the hands, keeps him thinking high. Goes in, Jim Miller blocks it, comes back. Jim Miller goes to swing. He misses the swing. Look at that distance. Like, technically, Hooker could have moved out and clipped him, but he doesn't. He just goes, actually, do you know what? I'm going to matrix myself the whole way out of that situation. He swings around, comes back, goes to the jab at a distance. Once again, keeping Miller with his hands up high. And he goes in like he's going to hit for the body. Miller goes down. I mean, why does he go down so far? I don't know. Maybe he thinks he was going for a kick or a body kick, and then he can, double leg or single leg that kick and try to take him down. But he goes in and he has his hands. His hands are like this, but then when he goes down, his hands open up, and that's when I think he really was going to go for a single. I'm not good enough to say how Hooker mastered as that, but dude, boom, right in the chin, just boom, right in there. I'm glad I got it before you see that and the thing goes back, because they're separated. This you can literally see just before that knee is literally just touching his beard, just touching his beard, man. And also, if you look how low he is, that's how high the knee screwed him up, because he went, oh God, and like moved up with his hands. And look, that's his face, man. Just, well, actually, because he's looking like that, so like that. And the arms like this kind of thing. Oh man, that's just one of those straight up out on his feet, standing. Didn't have to wait to fall or no, just shut down the lights. Power outage. And then once again, just like the Devashvili, I just gotta make a cap on this and give it an L. Not a Dan Henderson, but it's just like he could leave him. Like, you look at him, man. He could have left him. He's like, I gotta put a cap on this. I'm so sorry, Jim. And that's like, by the way, if you look at this, his eyes are down. The moment his eyes start to wake and look, the moment his eyes start to open up, and he probably sees, fist, boove. Oh, man. It's like he hits him. Oh, God, I'm not out. Oh, I think I can bang. Done. Ref calls a stop. Vicious, serious, lethal. Absolutely lethal. Well done, Dan Hooker. Sad to see. It's a bittersweetness of MMA sometimes, folks. My apologies for the sniffling and stuff. I still have the after effects of my flu, which I got specifically because I was in the hospital waiting for ages. I had to go to the hospital to get better, to get checkups. I go there, come out. I got a flu later on that day, like that evening. Like a couple of hours later, I blew my nose and was like, that was quite a nose blow. I don't like that. Then by like 10 o'clock that night, I was like, all right, this is like the 15th time I've had to give myself a serious nose blow. This isn't good. The next morning, I woke up with sinus migraines. It's horrible. Anyway, Branch versus Santiago. Man, I was wrong about this. Oh, sorry. My apologies. Miller defeats Hooker defeats Miller by KO in round 1. Fair play, Bullabus, Dan Hooker. Dan the Hangman Hooker. Yeah, I call this wrong. Um, Sometimes when you see a fighter, you forget when they lose to someone. One, they might have been losing that bad. It was just that shot or two that caught them. Two, you got to see who they were fighting against, and also and be like, oh well, actually, it mightn't be that. Basically, since Luke Rockhold, I was like, oh well, he did okay, but once Rockhold kind of found his way and took the rust off and paid attention to what was going on around him and bothered in the middle of the fight, he kind of had it very easily. Maybe Branch doesn't have the caliber for this, but it's one of those things where you're like, yeah, as much as I mightn't like Luke Rockhold personally, in regards to how I've seen him play out, well, actually, to be honest, I didn't really mind, and he was a brilliant fighter, or he is a brilliant fighter, so I kind of just gave him credit because I counted him out before and he destroys people. But that interview, post fight interview with him and Bisbing, where he was like, name a day, anytime, any place, you didn't win, I'll knock you out. I'll knock you out, you couldn't touch me. And Bisbing is like, dude, we literally just fought and I literally knocked you out. Like the belt is right here, like it's right here. I have your belt that I just won. Are you all right, man? And he's like, yeah, you can't beat me. You can't beat me. It's a fluke. And he's like, you just said I can't knock you. I just, dude, you're all right, man. So ever since that, it was like, fuck that guy. So I kind of, when I saw him beat Branch and stuff, it was like, okay, he's pretty decent. He's really good. And when Branch lost to him, it was like, okay, blah, blah. But whatever. I made a mistake. Branch is really good. Branch is really good, man. This is old school textbook, two big fuckers throwing and just bang, one leather connects before the other. Backed up against the fence, moves in. I don't know how Santiago didn't see that big haymaker, but whatever it is, I like how he puts his hand on one of his things, so it's like he can't try and cover up or move at a parade. It's just get that hand out of that way. Give me that face. He's sort of bracing for it. He's like, he hasn't touched him yet. Boom! Hot boom! Look at the extension of his arm. Look at his Branch's hips and his leg and where he displaces his weight. Watch that in the knee bends, giving extra foot push support, throwing that arm even further. You can't tell, but like his right leg toe is now pushing off the canvas, forcing the rest of that weight to swing through his body as his arm reaches over a peak where he no longer has to put strain to fix it up, and now it's got its momentum and it's continuing its arc, and it's at that continuing point over is where he adds that extra push to it. Boom! You can see the difference in the knee. That's kind of moving into the position, and that's pushing it through. Moves his shoulders even further forward. Bang! So that his arm, his hand, it's no longer him pushing forward. He drops his body down, so now the rest of the throw, gravity is helping it arc like something would around the planet, around like our orbit. It just slingshots it over, so you're not really pushing straight into nothingness. You're allowing gravity to kind of help it on its final curve, and like right on his chin, man. Look how far it swings his face around. Like he starts off. Look at the placement as well of Santiago's hips, where his chest faces, how his eyes and where his feet and eyes and shoulders are, from before the impact till afterwards. Boom! Complete, almost a 180, like, or at least 90-degree, almost like. By the whole point, he does a full 90, like. Lands on the canvas. The ref kind of gets in the way of seeing the final blow, I think. Does he? Yeah, the actual connection shot, his knee is still in the way. think, do I get this? Ugh. Jesus. He gets like 3 shots in there when the ref is like, it's done. So there the ref's holding him. It's like, it's done. And he still drops that last one. Fucking hell. Oh, there's quite a difference in his activity as well. Like his head's still up despite that first blow. His head's still up. His head's still up. Final blow. And then he's out. And he kind of wakes up again there. That's ref is to push him off him. Thrill of the moment. Look at that. The difference in his left shoulder. It's up and then drops it. Sorry. Drops it. Grand drops that left shoulder. And boom. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. David Branch defeats Santiago in the first round via KO. That was fun to watch. It was nice and it was quick and stuff, but it was also very fun. Now we go on to the main event. Barboza versus Kevin Lee. God, don't bang the table. Right. So I'm very quiet and subdued this episode. It's actually, normally talking doesn't cause any strain for me whatsoever. I can do it forever. But when your voice is hoarse and stuff like this, it's actually a physical. You have to push more and put more effort to get the voice out. I don't know why. I don't know what physiologically is going on inside your larynx and stuff that makes it an effort to push the sound out. But it really is. It's weird. I don't like the angle of this. And then if I turn my chair like that, yeah, that's better. Okay. Now, I know of a cheesy, shitty dragon on the top of my hat with a crap little pattern, but it was like 2 something on Amazon, and it's glow in the dark, which is awesome. So, well, not awesome. People overuse that word. I overuse that word. Like, awesome is to inspire awe. Staring at the Earth from the ISS, that's awe-inspiring. Going to Reykjavik and looking at the Aurora Borealis, that's awe-inspiring. Having a glow-in-the-dark hat is just fun. Right, this is just... Like, I've cobbled together a few shots of, like, one round, but this is the story of the fight. And it's... Like, there's a section of ground and pound that's very much like what Khabib did, but then there's the more classic UFC ground and pound where you're postured up and the person's against the fence and they're like scooped in like this, like here's the fence, there's their head, and their legs are like up like that, and there's, oh god, and their legs are like up there, and you're just knocking them in the face. The ease in which he takes Kevin Lee down as well. Bear in mind, Khabib, it wasn't as consistently easy for him. There's a lot to be said about this fight, man. The overall ability of Kevin Lee. Like, so I'll shut up, Dan. Just go. Start with the slides. Oh wait, I have to press that. Get it on there. There we go. So 1, 2, fireman's carry, and a slam to the floor. Notice that as well, right? The ability to do what he did and not just be like, oh, I just want to get him to the ground. Here, what the feck, man? It's not going backwards. This is a pile of nonsense. The other ones worked fine. Why isn't this working? Oh my god. There we go. Grand. Try that again. Sorry. Yes, so here he is, okay, tied against the fence. Lifts him up, pulls him away from the fence. Fireman carries him so he can turn his whole body at a completely, so Kevin Lee can turn his whole body at a completely different angle. Turn him in even more, slam him to the floor. It's that ability to pick someone up and control them and place them wherever you want on the mat that says a lot of your overall ability to control the fight and literally dictate where it goes. Then he shimmies him over when Barboza tries to get out, because Barboza's going to use the fence and do that stuff and try to get out as much as possible. So Kevin Lee pulls him away from the fence as best he can, so he can also not walking him across the whole octagon, so he doesn't waste his energy, because it looks great, but it's not necessary all the time, especially if you're going to be taking him down a lot. You plan to take him down a lot during the round. But this means that he has that bit more time to get a bit of dominance and get a bit of control over Barboza while he's making his way back to the fence. It also means that in that meantime, he can implement things of his position and control, so that when Barboza does get back to the fence, he can then go, ha-ha, and pull it out from under him and then posture him up like so. And just bang, starts dropping bombs on his face, man. Pretty easily. And a guy with jiu-jitsu, you want to be careful. Like, here's the thing. It's not that he's a jiu-jitsu master or any means. He's a striker. He's a standing striker. But you're not Brazilian and you don't know jiu-jitsu. That's just not how it works. And for someone to have a wrestling base and to be standing up and leaving limbs out, you got to be very confident in your ability to screw around with someone's overall control, to not be worried that a person who can sit there and go, this could be the story of the fight, unless I make him know, hey, I can't be putting him in this position because he's going to try and keep snatching my arms. But it's not a thing to him. And then when it gets annoying, he pulls him down, slams him in, and then does the Khabib stuff, where he has his hand around him like this. He has what's the best way to do it? So if this is Kevin Lee's arm, it's around his head, coming in, so that he can hold Barboza's arm is here, and then he's around the other side. See, I can't put my hands around across my neck like that. It's really hard to do it with one person. But the fact that he can hold that over Barboza, Barboza's stuck here, and it's just place where Lee can just punch him. And yeah, he has that other hand to defend, but it's not doing much, and that is what I call textbook Khabib. That's Sambo style. Ground and pound. And it's like, look at those arcs as well of his punches. A lot of times when you see people against the fence like that, or you see something similar, side control or whatever, they're short, kind of wear you out, annoy you. A lot of times to get you to roll over to turn around so you can submit them, or so you can get that one moment where you punch, then they move away and you break off and you crack them. But this is just straight up bang, and then get out again, bang, and then get out, and then lifts his arm. Like, watch it, he takes his hand out, rolls his arm the whole way around again, so that gravity once again can deliver the final point of the blow, bang, onto his face. And another one, lifts it right up, opens his arm this time, so that when he drops it back, the swing of his arm coming over with his elbow point as the hinge just allows for extra drop. Once again, gravity, bang, onto the face. Gets him around, he tries to get out, peels him back to the floor. Bows. Dropping short, painful, slicing elbows to the head. Well, I say short, but he's able to lift up each time. Notice that none of these shots so far have been short, quick impact, stressfully annoying shots. These have been crack, be it a punch or an elbow. Bang. It looks like I just took the frame and repeated it again, but I didn't. These are separate photos. Bang. You can actually see the difference with the movements of Edson's arm and where Edson's hand is. Oh, Jesus, that ref. When you move it really quick, it's very odd. It doesn't move like rapidly. Yeah, so just watch the foot of the ref. Each one of them is different shots, and he's just bang, bang, same as before, same as before. This is the point where the tables could have, for a brief moment, they did turn violently in, and violently is the right word, in Barboza's favour. You got Kevin Lee doing the funky chicken dance, and also at the same time showcasing a serious amount of control under the most dire straits, muscle memory, and just personal sovereignty of being, and in the most out of sorts delirium. Watch this, man. Barboza, he feels it, he sees it, moves in. Kevin, he's like, alright, I think I know what's coming, but it's okay, I'm going back off, and if it happens to clip me, I'll put my hand over and it's fine. And Edson's like, no. Boom! Crack! Full extension, slap. It comes in, the foot comes in curve, and then at the very end, bang! So that it doesn't just go like that, it pastes and sticks to his face. Boom! And look at the muscles. Look at the muscles on that guy's leg. Like, the power that's generated off that kind of a shot is unbelievably, like, what's the word? Intense and focused, and out of nowhere, truck to the face kind of style. And then what? Now this is the part that, like, when you watch it, you're like, ugh, ugh. Just pay attention to Kevin Lee's feet, where they are now, where they go, and how they completely curve in. And it's like, you know, when you roll your ankle, you roll your foot, and you're like, oh God, I've been walking for how many years I've been alive, and I just walked incorrectly, and now I can't really walk properly for the rest of the day. When that happens, it looks, I mean, obviously he doesn't, or he does and fights through it, but just watch his feet, man. And he's just all over the place, sticking that butt out, bit of twerking, bit of salsa, some merengue. Oh, and then the muscle memory kicks in. Hey, fucker, dive and take whatever's around you. Hug it. Just hug it. Just hug whatever's around you. Just strangle it like it's your lifeline. And then just, oh, I feel something in my hands. Drive through. Chugga-da. And like he takes him the fuck down. Well, he doesn't really. I mean, he sort of does. He doesn't end up dumping down. Like, Barboza sort of sprawls it. And fair play to Barboza for being like, feck off. Sprawls himself down. Look at that sprawl. And he's still holding on. I mean, dude, look at his feet, man. Like, what is he doing? There's a point in that where I think Barboza's like, go for the kill. Wait, no, he's not out. Is he out? I don't know. He could easily just clip me and make it look like he's more out than he is. Oh my God, he really is walking wonky. I don't know, just move in. Jesus, he's got my hips. You know, it was like, look at that. Look at that, dude. Dude, look at his right foot. What the shit, man? What the shit? That's so messed up. Oh, and he like spins around on it. Oh, Jesus. Sorry, my yoke is in the way from the thing. Oh, crap. I'll look out for that next time. It's kind of just generic. I just do the shot one after another. I should have checked that a bit more. But he's just, ow, you know, sticking it out. Like, wow. Looks like a Jamiroquai thing, like, at the moment. He's in Jamiroquai video. Futures, me not, Virtual insanity now always seem to coming back. This love we have now, you still twisting about new technologies. Oh, now there is no sound. I'm gonna take you to the ground. Yeah, gotta get my bearings, 'cause I don't know where the fuck I am. And it's fucking insanity how I'm not already knocked out. Like, fuck. Oh man, that was sick. That was sick. It also still shows, well, Barboza's a threat at any point. Don't sleep on him. One of those shots. That's, by the way, do you know what that was? Do you know what we just saw with that kick? That was a Terry Adams spinning wheel kick to the face. That was pretty much almost the exact same act that gave us one of the best highlight, shocking visuals for what an opponent looks like when they've been hit. And Terry's just, I'm a statue. It's just like frozen in time, like something from a Marvel film. It was ridiculous. I've never seen someone just get so frozen in while standing and like stay rigid the whole way to the floor. Like he doesn't bend or buckle. It's just like cardboard. Like you got a cardboard stand, just knocked it over and just went. It's fucking nuts. And then this is the moment where this is the kind of the beginning of the end. Kevin Lee opens up a cut here. He's been banging away at that eye on Barboza for a while, and one of the shots here prominently opens the cut up, and this is the cut that ends the fight. See him moving his leg there. I like that. Bits of movement. He moves around with his leg, and Barboza's like, oh, where's he going? What angle is he going? Moves away from it. And Kevin Lee still, instead of going like he's going to jab, he turns his body in. Look at that. Right? It's like, oh, he's going to straight jab. No, he's turning around. He's turning his shoulders into me, which means he could be going to look like he's kicking and then go for his right. But then he completely switches, turns the whole way around and cracks him in the eye. Boom. Look at that. Perfect fucking shot. That really dark stuff, that's the blood around his face. From the cut. And there it is. That's where it starts. And a couple of seconds later, the fight's stopped from the judges. I can't remember if... Yeah, no, it's round 5, so it's not the end of the round. Literally a couple of seconds later, there's a few more kind of indiscreet jab, kind of like, ooh, ooh, moments. And then that's it. Doctor comes in. He's like, hold on a second. The ref pulls him over and he's like, get a doctor. And you can see here, I allowed that to colour in. This is the amount of blood. Especially when you look at completely, like, you can tell it's bruised. You can tell there's swelling starting underneath. Tiny little bit of a mouse under the eye. Maybe a bit of hematoma just on top of the eyebrow. Well, technically this is right eye here. But I don't know, it could just be because he's squinting that it kind of, see the way the skin kind of folds up there when you squint. And it could just be how the light hits it. But after that one pop, he doesn't spend too much more time, folks, peppering that eye anymore. It's pretty much done. And then look at the amount of blood from that. Like, that's dark. And all over, I don't know, can you see my I don't know if my mouse comes up in your thing, but if not, if you can just see where the doctor's fingers are there, that kind of whole place there where the blood looks extra thick and it's just blatant red. It's not running in a direction and it's not trying, like, there's no gaps where there's skin. It's just very thick and what almost looks coagulated even. That whole thing is a slash. It's fucking dark. Although, yeah, if you want to Google, YouTube, whatever, Cage Warriors cut, that is the worst cut I've ever seen, man. They move it around and, like, they hold it here. It's like they hold it here on his head and they move it like this. And the cut's like that wide across his head. And it's about that tall. And you can just see his skull just as they move it around. So the top of his orbital bone and his skull. It's gnarly as F, man. So check that out. And then Kevin Lee wins by doctor stoppage, KO, TKO, due to doctor stoppage via cut. In the fifth round, fair play, Kevin Lee. Dude, I didn't think that you were a hype train. I didn't think that he was full of crap. Um, I just, I listened to him, like, you can tell that even though he said, I believe I can beat these, I can believe in those things, but I believe I can do that when the time is right, when I'm ready to fight these people, then I know, I'm ready to fight him, and it's real. He learned a lot from that Tony fight. He was saying, it was like the best thing he actually needed for him was that loss, and to understand the difference and stuff between the calibers and where he is and where he has to get better and everything. But I didn't think we would see this level from him this soon. I knew he could get there, but I thought maybe one or two more fights against bigger names, maybe like a Poirier or an Alvarez, he might beat them and then go, oh shit, okay, there's really no one else except for the next tier when you're talking about if you're taking out Alvarez or Poirier, like. But dude, like, he already got there. Like, I mean, he would have to have a fight and then fight Alves or Poirier and beat them significantly to go, oh, okay. But he just went straight into fighting Barboza, and I arguably beat him with a more array of techniques, more different positions where he was in control than Khabib. And more consistently, while not looking to fade or his overall performance stop or hit a peak, and then still he was winning, but gradually his overall ability for activity throughout the rounds gets lesser and lesser. It was kind of the same for the whole fight, man. It was very, very, very impressive. And you put him with the rest of those people at the top 7, top 6. He's right up there with them, man. He really is. And I'm very curious. There's so many fights at lightweight. So many fights. It's the deepest, scariest, most elite division. Strawweights for the women is the deepest, elitist, or most elite of the women's division. And lightweight really is for the men's. It's unbelievable. It's unreal. Welterweight is potentially close there, but there's still a lot of questionable matchups that haven't happened yet. But I think a lot of it's going to shake out over the next few. We've got a lot of exciting matchups coming. Tell Wonderboy, Kobe versus RDA. Also, if you want to get an idea of Kobe, go look at his Google Kobe's Reddit Ask Me Anything. And he was clean, healthy living, good, honor, respectful fighter. And that clearly wasn't doing anything for him, because I never heard of him until he started talking shit. But he's not good at it at all. It's very fake. It's very fixed for him. And from sources, Karen Bard, inadvertently, no scoring on her. I'm not trying to put her under the bus, sort of throw her under the bus. I'm so sorry. I love you, Karen. You're amazing. I listen to your podcast all the time. You're brilliant. And I love watching you on Fox and everything like that. He has a writer, same writer that used to write with Chael, or taught Chael how to write. He's got a writer. That's not good, man. It's not that it's not good that we know. It's just not good in general. Now, back in the day and the kind of stuff that Chael's doing, it's like, okay, whatever, man. But Kobe's like, I don't know, man. It's different. It's weird. It's like Chelson is like, I'm gonna say cereal box generic stuff, whereas Kobe's like, I'm real, original, and fresh. When you look at me, take you down, son. And it's like, but you're not. You're not. And it was very glaring when you had no response, when you'd run out of your material at your post at the press conference. It was very clear that. Now, I thought he pre-wrote his own material and had run out and didn't know what to do off script. But the fact that somebody else did, and clearly isn't that good, because you didn't know what to do when you had to go off script. So the guy basically gave you basic stuff, so it was easy for it to go off script and didn't give anything to help you with it. You just kept repeating yourself. It's very weird. But that division is going to shake out. But until then, I think it's unarguable that lightweight is the killer of divisions right now with the most elite level of talent. At quite a stacked, tight, what's the word? I don't know. My point is not just that there's loads of elite people here and there. It's like very compressed at the top of just very, very, very high level. And the next level down is another high level compressed, and then not as compressed, not as good. But it's still very high level before you have to get down to go not as high level, but it's still very tightly compressed, not high level, because these sharks just have to kill each other and fight each other so much, so constantly, that you gotta be on point all the time. And what's seriously crazy about Kevin Lee is, as good as he was and what he just showed us, that dude is a kid, man. I know I looked like a child, and if I shave my face, I don't just kind of look like, oh, are you really that old? I would 100% look like a child. If I was in America, I would be carded, because only because that my height isn't as disparagingly small in Ireland. If I was in America and they look at my face plus my height, they're like, bro, you're like 17 at best. 21, in the inside of my asshole. Like, what do you do? ID. I'm still 30. Kevin Lee's 25 years old. Do you know how much a guy like that, at that level, in that division, at this time in his life, can get? Fuck, man. We're gonna see serious shit. Serious shit. And like Zabit, that kind of stuff as well. God, we're really starting to see these killers come in who are taking out the 30-something-year-olds or late 20s, 30-year-olds at a really young age, and they're already kind of better already, or at least better at the age they are than the person they're fighting when they were that age, without a fucking doubt. It's awesome. Okay, now we go on to Bellator, because it is another organization that does exist. And occasionally, for people who are like, UFC to like die, man, no, Bellator, what's Bellator? It sounds like an event held to honor my balls. There's really good fighters on that, man. There's some really cool fights. And argument can also be made of, when the guys aren't that high level, they're more scrappy, and you get more crazy looking fights. So it doesn't hurt anyone to go a bit outside their comfort zone, and it's good for MMA when everybody does this. Now, first up we have Dylan Dennis. Dylan Dennis is one of Conor McGregor's crew. Came into prominence during the Nate Diaz incident. It's a big country. And here's the scoop: is he's sort of like he's sort of Gary Tonin-esque in his really, really, really ridiculously of a very small community of high level jiu-jitsu people, of the more outside the box thinking jiu-jitsu as well. I'm not good enough at striking, like observing it, to really know when someone is lacking. But I'm not going to say that I didn't sit there and go, oh, well, clearly Walker has much better striking than Dennis does. Just by the movements of him coming in, coming out, and the fact that he was getting tagged a lot. And then I was like, I don't know, it could be like a game style that he doesn't care, whatever, or he shows that he has the ability, but he's not afraid of your man's punches, he just wants to get in. But then I was listening to a Fight Companion after the fact, and I heard Joe, and he was like, the stand-up's really not that good. And I was like, oh, okay, so it is not just me. It's not the best. But it doesn't matter, because he toe-holded Walker in a very painful way. A lot of these, there's a lot of angle changes, but it's still shown from A to B timeline of the finish. but the camera angle changes because some of the camera angles, the ref gets in the way, or you can't actually see the submission and where it's being locked or what the person's doing from that other angle, from the angle that was I started off with. So I change it, but it's still the same sequence. So this camera's I'm looking at the camera and it's crooked, but on screen it looks all right. Is it all right, folks? I hope it's all right. Anyway, let's go. So he has him there for the armbar. Oh God, sorry, I've got to. There we go. Oh, is that his leg or his arm? Sorry, is that his arm or his leg? I can't see. I think he kind of has both. He might have his leg and he's trying to get his leg out, but either way, he pulls him on and rolls him, grabs the leg out of him, tries to roll into it, turn with it. A Walker, that is. Dennis is like, I think I got you, son. I think I got you. Oh, I got you. Rests his face on it. Locks it up even more and then starts to really roll and like push it close to his chest and then starts to really just allow his own body to turn and roll onto it, trapping it just with his own body weight and the turning of his hips. And now Walker's doing the right thing, but leaning in and bending his knee as close as he can to avoid any hyperextension or anything of the sort. And now this is the part that I had to change angles, because right now Dennis is going to work, serious work. Before he was just getting his groove on, getting his gear together, setting up shop. Now he's sitting at the workbench and he's going to work. So camera angle changes here, and this is what he's doing. So he has the ankle resting on his arm. So Walker's ankle with his foot, the sole of his foot like that. Wait, where's the camera? Resting on his arm. And he's going to bend. He's going to use his torso to sit on this part of his leg and then use his hands and his elbow to bend that ankle where it's not supposed to bend, and his toes he's going to twist and curl them against the pressure of his stomach on the rest of his legs. And that's also locked in between the hips and his own and Dennis's own legs. So it's pretty much a vice locking that in, and then he's using his hands to bend and warp and wrap out. Jesus fucking Christ. And now the camera's fucking off. Piece of shit. Oh, you dick wank. Fuck is wrong with you? No, get up. Get up. I do on the scene. I get on up like a sex machine. I get on up. Man, it was perfect before. There. Yeah, so just watch. Watch it. Watch how he really starts to crank. He puts his hand over like this to create a solid, just a solid lock bar that he can just put all his weight in. As he pulls, see there where it starts to wreck on the ankle, and you can see his face. Crap, I don't know if you can actually see my cursor again, but if you look at Walker's ankle here, as Dennis really starts to wrench in and start to twist it, you can see that's when his face starts to hurt. And notice as well where I said that Dennis has the rest of his leg locked in a vice. He's now sat on it and crushed into it even more. Turns it around. Look how much of a turnaround that is, man. Look where he starts off and it's already starting to hurt. Look at the angle of the turn. And now look how curved his foot's gotten. And that's it. He can't take it anymore. You can even see a weird, like, bend protrusion there as the ankle kind of pops out a bit. And it's like, oh, it look normal. Look at the face of Walker, man. Look at the face of him. That's not about to tap, and that's after the fact. Absolute, like, agony. That is a face of agony, man. Insane. Fair play to Dylan Dennis, and sick tattoo. That's a great MMA debut, by the way. Great MMA debut. Destruction. This one's good if you're a Gracie fan. The old school Gracies haven't exactly had as much of a look in modern day MMA as they did in the original old school days. So it was nice to see Gracie get a win. It was also nice to see Hoist in the corner there. Not in the corner, but in the crowd, cage side, stands up, gives him a standing ovation, everything. I have weird neck muscles. Or like, not muscles, what are they called? Tendons. They're very prominent, like. It's weird. I wish I did enough roids so that's like what, like, you can imagine if the rest of my body was like that. That's how. Oh, I wish I did enough, like, enough, any. I was saying enough. I wish I did any TRT or shit like that so I could look like that. I have a body complex issue. Right, so very simple head and arm choke, or it could be called an arm triangle. I'm not. Can I just say I don't actually know what the difference is between a head and arm choke and an arm triangle, and I am 75% leaning that they're actually the same thing. So bear with, like, please forgive me if I get it wrong and it's like, oh man, clearly the differences. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure same for the most part. It was declared a head and arm triangle, so I'm going to call it an arm triangle, but I don't see any difference between that and a head and arm choke. But nevertheless, here we have, he's sitting on him, he has his arm underneath the back of his head, which is like, it's not doing much, but more so, Torres's arm is up like that. So if he locks his shoulder blades there on his neck more, and then starts to tighten in, that's where the submission comes from. So if you watch here, look at the hands. Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting to click into these. Sorry. There we go. That's what I should have shown you. So just look at the hands and look where I said the collarbone. That is going to dip in a bit further and start to be a bit of the problem of the choke, especially because your man's arm is up like that. It means he's now constricted. Like, put your arm. I know when you lift your arms up, your lungs open up and you can get in a lot more air, right? And FYI, if you're, and sometimes we drink a liquid or we swallow our saliva, and despite the fact you've been doing it our entire lives, we sometimes choke and go on our own saliva. If that ever happens, lift your arms up and force yourself to breathe as much as you can, and it's like a natural thing for your body to go and breathe in. It makes it easier. But if it's only one arm, and as well, once you start to push this muscle in your shoulder up past a point, it starts to push in on your neck and move in closer. So if you're lying like that and then someone's shoulder or collarbone and everything is in its way, moving your head a bit more to one side, lift your own arm up and lift your head over. And you can already hear in my voice there's a slight difference from when my Adam's apple and my larynx there is being pressed on by the muscle in my arm. So if you're going like that, even slightly, once you move your arm up, it starts to constrict the air. And his arm is like fully back. And then if you can imagine doing that and then someone else putting a bar there in your throat like that, it gets really dark very quick for the person involved. But watch the hands of Gracie. Locked. And that's the beginning of the end. And you can see here he was flattening them before on mount, but now he started to pressure off. He arches his body, his shoulder arches his back up, gets his knee up, so he's still putting pressure on. Puts his knee in, and a change angle here, right? Look at where his knee is. Look at the pressure, and you can see in the dint that it makes in his stomach. Like, imagine already you can breathe, you can already breathe. Imagine you can already breathe fine, but someone just goes high, with their knee into your stomach as you're lying down. You're like, oh, dude, what are you doing? And he uses that and he drags his knee. He doesn't just press and pop over. He presses it in and then Shimmy drags his knee around because he doesn't want to do too quickly to lose grip of his arms and to lose the angle. So he's bit by bit shimming, moving, but allowing his knee to drag in across the body. This is continually going to make it harder through the process for the person to breathe or to get consistent rhythm of breathing. It messes with it. And he drops down. Boom. Complete change of angle. And that is the part that turns. Just sitting on someone and having your shoulder and stuff just in there, that when you turn, you now force that right into their entire area. And then once on their neck, and once again, because their arms up, you've now completely cinched it and locked it in once you dump your body around the corner. And watch. This is something I don't know if it's the thing behind it, but something I noticed. So as Gracie starts to move out, he still keeps his left knee up quite close. And then as we look as Torres tries to fight it, he uses his knee as a ramp. And then what it's doing is it's forcing Torres's body above, forcing his stomach and his diaphragm above his actual chest, which makes it even more difficult for you to take the air in and not be constricted. If you're ever lying on the ground, right, and then you throw your legs up, as your stomach and stuff moves up and as your pelvic floor gets higher, it brings your body in a bit more and brings your diaphragm in a bit more, and it's not as easy to breathe in. And at that moment, your body is doing everything it can, and the idea that some parts of its muscle memory to push out and breathe can't, that adds to the mental thing of losing your ability to stay conscious. And it also means that he can lean in even higher because he's creating a ramp and a downward slope for Gracie's body to push even more. And he's got a strong base with his knee there and that knee there. And then that's it. Can't take any more. Too tight, too basic. Textbook stuff. That's something as well that's a huge difference between modern jiu-jitsu people, the 10th Planet kind of guys, and Gracie's and that kind of style. Is Gracie's, like Damon Maya's style, they know the bread and butter and are so good at it so well that they will just bit by bit by bit impose their will, peel you, and just section by section, A position, B position, C position, D, move into the position, this slow boa constricting process. And then you have, which is one of those things where, hey, you might know how to get out of 98% of different types of people's standard textbook submissions, but you're gonna find it really hard to get out of this, guys, because it's just so refined. And then with the Eddie Bravo 10 Planet style, you're gonna be submitted in ways you're like, whoa, where do you get that limb and how do you get that? If I'd have known he could do something like that, I wouldn't have gone for that kind of a strike at that angle when I was on top of him or whatever, or when I was in his guard. What the hell? Or I went for that takedown and missed it. How the hell has he gone around and given me a calf slicer? What the feck? Or I went and swung too much and he just dived under it, Imanari rolled, and then wrapped me up in a leg lock. This stuff, it's just completely unexpected shit. It's very hard to train for. So both of them have their advantages, and they're both beautiful when you see them executed well. And so, Naaman Gracie wins by submission, arm triangle / head and arm choke in the second round. Well done. Another win for the Gracie. A sub, would you believe it? A Gracie won by submission. I wouldn't have believed it. I tell you, there's a day for everything. Then there's Lovato Jr. versus Harris. This has just been a sub clinic. this night at Bellator. I keep doing that, and I'm never gonna remember. This is ba. This was a. I think it started off as trying to get a triangle, but it turned into an umber, and umber. I love this. A lot of rolling around, a lot of moving around. This is one of those things where I don't know if this is on purpose and why it changed from an arm triangle, from a triangle to armbar, or if he did it on purpose. But when you see people go and take one ankle that's around the other person and then throw the other leg over, they want to lock it like that underneath. So if let's say my elbow is my knee, they want to put their leg like this and then lock that over, and then it creates this key lock mechanism that essentially is very hard to break, because you have your muscles, you lock it in, your muscles sit around the point of connection, and you have your ankle at the other end, which way your foot is. So essentially your arm is holding the narrowest part, or one part of your leg is holding the narrowest part of your other leg, and either side of that, it's thicker. So it's not as easy to just push off. You have to bend around with their weight and stuff so that their foot like this collapses in, and then you can slide it out. But it's easier said than done. And when you do that around the body as well, it creates a body lock, and it locks on your diaphragm and your sternum and causes a real problem for the person underneath to breathe, especially when they get the rear naked and they flatten them out. Then they really lock that on. It makes it very hard. That's why you want to roll into the side of the body lock that has where they're connected, so it breaks out and loses some of the tension. But what he has here is he's tried to do it, but I don't know if it's the position of Harris or the leg dexterity of Lovato or whatever, maybe his position, but he can't get the lock on. He kind of just gets one ankle touching the other, or a bit of the calf, and tries to lock it with his feet like that. So he's like, screw this. I'm going to try it again. No, not working. Feck it. I'm going to roll you over. I already have that arm. Where's that arm there? Yeah, roll you over. Give me that arm. Cheers, buddy. It's going to flatten you out there. Harris is like, nope, I'm going to roll forward, bitch. You ain't flattening me out. And he's like, cool, but I'm going to roll with you, son. And it's actually good that you roll over, because now I can slap that right leg securely and then lock my left leg over. Cheers for that. When I was on belly there, I wasn't able to get it right, but now I'm able to get it right. Slap that on. Delicious. Watch how his right leg is there across his whole body, but as he moves him over, he puts it behind his head this time, and then gets his other leg locking over the front of Harris's face, making it almost like it's locked, X-locked, done in, bending his arm. And Harris is fighting, but I don't know if there's much of a point to fight when it's locked in like that. Look where the legs are crossed, like, and the ref's like, all right, done. So here it is. There's the, oh shit, I used the wrong frame. I used the frame after the tap. I had the frame with the tap, but I used the one after. Sorry. Which means I deleted the actual one because it takes a lot of space, so I just delete them all. Anyway, but yeah, I like how it was like, I think I have a triangle. Let me try for the triangle here. I don't think I can get this triangle. Alright, screw it, armbar. Going belly down. Don't make grip right. I'm going to let you roll me over. Haha, I'm going to roll you over. You did exactly what I wanted you to do, you fool. Slap, lock, done. It's a night. Parcel through the door. Sign here, please. Tap that signature on the dotted line. Winner. By submission, the second round, Rafael Lovato Jr. By armbar. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Well done. Next, we have Sanchez versus Cecilia, who used to be a UFC fighter, started off in The Ultimate Fighter. Good guy. Crazy loss. I want to say it's a rear naked choke from standing. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think he's even looking at the camera. He's like, I got this. It's just a matter of time before he tires out. This is locked. And having that head behind his head as well is just like pushing it in to really lock that in there and get it right in. Like, pulls him to the floor, by the way. It was not best angles in between the transition, so it's just the best one was just them on the floor. And Cecilia, Sam, like he's fighting off as much as he can, but you can see in the silhouette, and you can see there he is. He's fighting. His arm is still quite solid on it. His left arm coming down, but then you see there. Watch where the glove is. You can see the B in the Bellator, and then the hand sticks out for the brace. I think. Tap. Ref comes in, separates it. But the commitment to go from standing like, oh, actually, fuck it. Rear naked, standing, and then just being like, I'm holding you till you're gone, buddy. Let's go to the floor. We're going for a ride. Woo! And Cecilia really tried to fight it, but the guy had too much conviction in that hold. Way too much conviction. From a hold that was pretty perfectly in place. So Cecilia, oh crap, I never changed the name thing for that one. Crap, my apologies. Well, that showed. Sanchez wins by, I want to say, rear naked choke. I don't know if it's a face lock or something. I think it's rear naked choke, but I can't 100% say that's what it is because I don't really know. He's not behind him back to back, like thing to thing, so I don't exactly know, but either way, I think it was a second round submission. Fair play to him. Fair play by. And then this, I didn't see coming. Let's be honest, I didn't see coming. I really didn't. But holy hell, the last Emperor still not in a round. 1 second. Man, I need lunch. Alright, so we're finished. I'm going to wrap it up pretty quick. Comes in. Boom! I saw that and I was like, oh shit, what a serious punch. That even might be it. Or you could follow up. What's going on here? This is already mad. It's like a couple of seconds into the fight. I was like, oh, Frank's going to come in. And he's like, oh shit. He just ate a shot from Fador. But he's still coming through. Gets a bit wobbly. Goes in for it. Fador goes in for another jab. Misses. Frank comes in. Misses. Fador kind of hits him, but it doesn't really do much. He moves forward to try and get it. It was one of those things where he put too much commitment in that punch. So Fador kind of just half clipped, pushed him, caused him to stumble and move forward, continuing the movement of the original punch he threw. And then it's in that point, boom! Fador tags him. And he drops him. Don't worry, I got a better angle on it. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. I went through like a fine-tooth comb. It's so quick. Whatever it is about it, the only shot that I got of the what seems to be connection, Frank's face is just a smudge blur, and Fedor's arm from like here and his fist is just smudge blur. It's just a smudge and a blur. I can't see it. I really tried. There's not a better one. But you can see it's at that point there from him coming in so heavy from that punch that he threw. Look at the feet spacing. Throws that foot. Look how far his right foot forward is. How far his left foot's back. He is throwing that the whole way. Similar to the Branch knockout earlier, except Branch connected. And when you don't connect in those shots, you keep going forward, man. And it's in that Fador sees it, like, oh, bang! Shovel hook to the face. Cracks him coming in. So he has all Frank's momentum on his fist, as well as the hook from the hips and the body. Dropping him to the floor. And like, proper, still got it dude in the game. Jumps on him, punches him, cracks him again. Done. Once, twice, thrice. Not really. I didn't see that one come, man. I didn't see it happening that early. I will be honest. I had a feeling it was going to be a bit of a, not a boring fight, but a slow, lumbery kind of fight that will have its moments of just guys just like winging to thin air, and one guy connects and one guy connects, but they never really have that much overall power anymore to make it that knockout blow. But I thought it'd be like two or two and a half, maybe in the third round. The victor will emerge. But dude, fair play. And to be honest, hearing everything about Fedor coming into the sport where he had gone, he wasn't in it anymore, or at least he wasn't coming into the UFC, all that kind of crap. Like I came into it, and maybe 2 years later they absorbed Strikeforce. Nah, probably about 4 or 5 years later, but still. I saw a lot of his old fights and stuff, but it's pretty cool to see him now in modern day, still at this age, taking out somebody that I walked into UFC knowing this guy's a motherfucker. Frank Mir was my favorite fighters back in the day. He really was. I just loved how a dude like him, when it came to jiu-jitsu, was just so scary to be that vicious and on point, and the size and the mass, and he had got some serious knockouts as well in his day. I love that guy. So even though these guys are older, to me they're at the similar level of old, coming from similar caliber of just killers in their heyday. So they kind of still match tit for tat, in my opinion. At least I think it worked out like that coming into the fight. It was really cool to see Fedor like that, and to see him win emphatically in a really cool way with a knockout TKO. In the second round, Fedor Emelianenko, the last emperor. Well done, buddy. Well done. Nastrove. And then he's like, we shake hand. Yes, we shake hand. Respect. Good man, Mr. Mayor, Frank. And Frank's like, no. I'm gonna hug you. You complete me. Look at that face. Like, you complete me. Thank you. It's those little respect moments in the sport. For sure, I think it was a bit over the top when every 2 seconds when they punched each other or connected between Crow Cop and Pat Barry, they just kept hugging. It's like, we get it, fight. But stuff like that after the fact, especially with two stoically kind of manly men like that, to be like, hug, we shake, respect. And Mir's face, he's like, hug. That's real. The face, and I'm like, it's brilliant. It's fantastic. So, folks, that concludes this week's The Rundown. I will be back again next week. Hopefully my voice won't be half as disgraceful as it is now. I'll be doing, actually, I might do a quick one this week on a live stream. I might do a live stream and just go through my picks for this weekend's fight. It is this weekend's fight, yeah. Nunez versus Rocky P. Let's just call a spade a spade. If Nunez doesn't flatline Rocky P, I don't know. She's got good pace. She's a brawler. She can take a lot of damage and all that kind of stuff. She's very relentless, but I just don't know if anybody yet has come out who can take what Amanda has. It's gonna be good. There's a few people on that card. It's quite interesting. So yeah. Is there anything else to get into? There's Leslie Smith stuff, which is insane and weird. There's all the other stuff. There's that another wife beater that they're bringing in, which is like, I don't know. I don't remember his name. I didn't bother to remember his name. I know people argue Floyd Mayweather and that this guy made him less than Floyd Mayweather, but I can at least. I don't like Floyd Mayweather. I think that's fucked up. He went to prison for what he did. Like, what the fuck? But in understanding someone else's motivation, I can say, hey, I get that if he brings you this much money, even though it's extremely fucked up morally, I can see why someone of your standard would be okay with that concept. But this other dude, he the fuck is that guy? Like, who the fuck is that guy? So it is like, what do you have to gain from this? It's weird. But I'll probably go into that a bit more in the live stream. Anyway, until then, thank you very much for watching, folks. Please like and subscribe to the video. It will do me an awesome solid if you were to do that. Obviously, only do it if you like my shit. If you don't, then don't like things that you don't like just because someone is like, be a part, like it, join the club. Don't. Only support the things you love. It's the day of the internet. If you don't love it, you don't love it. Only pursue the entertainment you like. But I hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, don't be that guy and not like it and give me a sub. But anyway, thank you very much. Take it easy. Look after yourselves, folks. Till next time. Peace.